wherever you are in this our beautiful planet. I just want to welcome you all to this session, and I hope you're all doing well. I can see my sister, Evangelist Bisola. Good evening. I'm sure this is way past your bedtime in Nigeria. Also, my nephew Bolaji, good evening. It's about 10ish in Sierra Leone. Welcome as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I just pray that all those that will be joining us, that they will be able to do so by the special grace of God. So, we're going to be continuing this series on world poverty. World poverty. We're going to be continuing this series on poverty, in the world, especially in the developing countries, the so called developing countries, and underdeveloped countries. Good evening, my dear Pastor Denise. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today we will be talking about the broken educational system, the broken educational system that exists in these countries. Broken educational system. Now, when we were all growing up, I'm sure we've had this saying that, they said education is power, knowledge is power, you know, knowledge is power, and that, we are taught that education can end poverty, which is true, which is true, because knowledge, like I said, is power. And Robert Noyce, she went ahead and also said that apart from knowledge being power, knowledge shared is power multiplied. So you see, if you have knowledge and then you share that knowledge, it's power multiplied, because whoever you are sharing it to, that person is being empowered, you know. And Hosea 4:6 in the Bible tells us that our people perish for lack of knowledge. People perish for lack of knowledge, and that is so true. That is so true. So many people have been abused, have been misused, all because of lack of knowledge. We know so many celebrities, as they call them, you know, musicians and all these other entertainers, because of lack of knowledge, they have been robbed, of their money. You see, so knowledge is very important. It is very, very important. I mean, without knowledge, we've had so many stories, even here in the United States. Sometimes when people have succeeded, they will tell you they used to live in the project. This is like, well, not exactly like African slums, but in the poor areas of town. And these people, they were able to dig themselves out of that environment, all because of education. All because of education. So education is very important, you know. And so we ask ourselves the question: is government supposed to help us to build, better schools? Is government supposed to fund educational institutions? Are they supposed to? And the answer is yes. The answer is a resounding yes. Even though you can have, private sectors, they can build some private schools and all, but government is responsible to build educational institutions, be it higher educational institutions and junior educational institution like schools, primary schools, secondary schools. They are supposed to. And then higher educational institutions like colleges and technical institutes, they are supposed to. But what we find in these countries, these developing countries and underdeveloped countries in Africa, Asia, Latin America, these places is, and to some extent, even in the developed countries like Europe and the United States, believe it or not, you do have some ill equipped schools, ill equipped universities, you know, poorly funded. They are poorly funded by government. So this is the truth. But it is worse in developing countries and underdeveloped countries like Africa, Asia, and these other places. So when you when that happens, a child, let's start from the lower education. A child goes to a school, sits in a classroom that is overcrowded. You know, the classroom is overcrowded, it's filthy. How do you expect that child to focus? How do you expect the child to learn? As you can see behind me, look at this is a classroom in somewhere in Africa, right behind me. See how overcrowded it is. They are literally sitting like sardines next to each other, touching each other, no space in between. How do you expect them to focus? How do you expect them to write properly? How do you expect them? It is very, very difficult. And then you can see on the other side that these children are sitting on the ground. They don't even have they don't have desks to put their books. Everything is on the floor. That's very difficult. It is very, very difficult. Hello, Auntie Mariello, Desica, God bless you. It is very, very difficult to focus, very difficult to concentrate. And this is what we're talking about here, you know. And then we come to the universities. Most of the universities we have, in that part of the world, is the same problem. Poorly kept. Government is not giving enough funds to renovate these schools, these colleges, just like they are not giving enough funds to renovate the schools. Now, some of these children, like in lower education, there are some parts of the world where it is free. It is free of charge. School fees are free. Okay. But guess what? I know that's for sure in Sierra Leone. A couple years ago, they started that, free education. When I was in school, it was not free. So at least that is progress. But there is a movie I'm going to show you, and you know you will understand where I'm coming from. Even though it is free, there are some children that are forced to pay some fees by the teachers. Some children are forced to pay some fees by the teachers, and when they don't pay, they are beaten and sent home. Yes. And coming back to paying, the government giving free education. But these children, according to the teachers are interviewed, these children have to take care of their books, some of their books. They have to take care of their uniforms, their shoes, things, their bags, stuff like that. Now remember, these children, they are not working, so that burden falls on the family, on their parents. And remember, these parents, most of them are poor. They are poor because whatever income they are having is not enough. I gave you yesterday a typical example of how much a whole medical officer is paid in Africa, just the average, about $400 per month. The average. A whole RN registered nurse, about $120. Can you imagine? What about those women that sell in the marketplace, you know, those petty traders? Some of them are there all day long and they don't sell enough product. And they have to eat, they have to pay rent, and all these other things. So it is a struggle. It is a problem, you know. So when that happens, when a child is sent home because they don't pay certain fees, when a child cannot afford meal to eat, they don't go to school. They don't go to school. And next thing you know, the result is drop out. These kids at a very young age, they drop out from school. They stop going to school. They stop going to school. And the next thing is some of them get involved in various crimes, which is so unfortunate. Some of them end up drug addicts, drug addicts. So this is a vicious cycle. If you are not paid, your parents are not paid because they are so poor. Because if they are not paid enough salary, how are they going to be able to take care of you while you are in school? So it's a vicious cycle. And this is very, very sad. But then you have these same elected officials we talked about yesterday. They have their children schooling in America, England, Canada, using the country's money from our natural resources, our gold, our diamond, our oil, our copper, bauxite, all the money they've stolen to educate their children and grandchildren. I don't know how we want to look at this, but as far as I'm concerned, it is injustice. I'm going to play you a clip from a video of a school in the province, somewhere in Freetown, a village in Sierra Leone. It's a 3 minutes video clip because a picture tells 1,000 words. So you can hear from the students and also from the teachers. Like I said, when they are not paid, the teacher, for example, a teacher is paid, a whole teacher, is paid an average of about $120 per month. So when the teacher is not paid enough, guess what? That is when all those fees, they start to ask the children for money. That is where bribery takes place. So the government providing free education, that's not enough. What about paying the teachers enough? And not just pay the teacher enough, pay the teacher regularly every month. They get their salary every month. these elected officials, but they can afford not to pay the teachers every month. So we're going to play this clip for you to see. It takes about 3 minutes.
There's something I've been hearing my entire life.
One of my life mottos is education ends poverty.
But is that true? And if so, why?
I don't want to stay like my parents because they are suffering a lot for income. So I think that if I become a lawyer, I will change my family background.
I've learned there's often a huge gap between policies pronounced in the capital and what actually happens at the grassroots. So if we see a few kids who are school age and not in uniform, just clearly out of school, let's just stop. You want to hold on? Stop. Let's go talk to them. I'm a journalist. Are you harvesting palm nuts to make oil? And are you in school?
Yeah.
In primary school? Do you have to pay school fees?
Yeah.
What happens to children who do not pay school fees?
And they watch by the register, they watch. Then if they're calling him, the amount that if you not pay the school fees, they will give you, or sometimes they will beat you.
And the bursar has a cane or what?
Okay.
A cane? And how many strokes?
Almost
6.
When the names are called, how many children out of the 52 are beaten?
Only 25.
So almost half of the kids are beaten every week for not paying the school fees? What do you make of that?
My immediate response is it's painful. It's because it violates everything that we've been working for. It makes me want to cry. Like it's horrible.
Almost every kid I spoke to, there was some kind of illegal fee, whether a school fee or a book fee or a lunch fee.
I think change is hard, and change is possible.
Changing a policy doesn't change a culture. Senge banned corporal punishment, but everywhere I went, I saw canes in classrooms.
So this is a cane, So even the sight of this thing, get these kids, conform. But it's a tool.
So why are teachers beating kids? For some, it's discipline. For others, it's a punishment for not paying fees that shouldn't exist, because many teachers traditionally relied on school fees for income. How are you teachers paid? How you need to survive too. You need to eat.
The only way we survive, because we take little thing from the bills.
Is that enough to pay the community teachers? Enough to survive? No.
When people challenges, justified challenges.
Okay, so as you can see from the video, you see you heard from the students and you also heard from the teachers. So you see the reason why they take money from the students is because their salary is not enough. And taking those so-called, they call them small fees, that's bribery, because they need to survive. So that is bribery, because they have to survive. You see? And then the poor children, like the girl was saying, their parents are poor. Their parents are poor. They have to provide books, they have to provide uniform for them, food, transportation, all these other things. So this is the problem. This is the dilemma. we face in these underdeveloped countries and developing countries, including Africa. you know so, and the other problem is the main problem also in our educational system is the quality of teachers, the quality of lecturers, due to tribalism, nepotism, you know favoring someone over the other because maybe you are related to that person. It doesn't matter regardless of their qualification. Some of these people that are hired, they are not qualified. Some are hired, like I said, because they are related to maybe the principal, or because they are related to the minister of education, things like that. So if the teacher is not well equipped, what do you expect? The students will definitely not be well equipped. So this is the dilemma that is plaguing Africa, African schools, the dilemma that is plaguing all other underdeveloped and developing countries. And the worst of all, sometimes when these children cannot provide the fees, the bribe, guess what happens? Sexual abuse comes in. Some of these kids are sexually abused. Yes, yes, it is exhortation. Yeah, these kids, yeah, it is. It is. We are all created, says Pastor Denise. We are all created in God's image, yet we treat others so poorly. That is so true. Yes, Auntie Marie. Uh-huh. It is true. I like you said I went through all this, even my children too. But thanks be to God, we survived it. Hallelujah. It is so sad. Some of them are sexually abused when they cannot provide the money. Can you imagine? This we're talking about middle and high school. These are teenagers, for God's sake. All because they want to stay in school and have a better education. So you see, at the end of the day, we have to hold these elected officials accountable for what they're doing. A lot of them have blood in their hands. They do. And some of them, they pretend like they don't know what is going on, as you can see on that video. That was the Minister of Education. Sometimes some of these elected, I'm not saying that he knows about it, but I'm just saying some of them, they do know what is going on because they know it's the system. It is the system, they will say, to take bribes because they know they are not paying people enough. So they turn a blind eye. So I believe that we should raise our voices on this part of the world. For some of this, I'm not saying that, I don't know how to put it. I'm not saying that they should not allow their children to come over here and have higher education, you know, because based on the salary that they are receiving, you know, they can afford it. But I think they should start to raise this awareness that, if you can afford such money, but not everybody can afford it. So why not, spend some money in the institutions in your countries? Why not pour in enough funds? Why not hire quality teachers, quality lecturers? Why not pay them enough? Why not pay them enough so that can help to curb bribery and abuse? Why not do all of those things? These countries have, every country in the world have natural resources. because God is not a God, it's not a partial God. Every country have enough for his people. Why misuse our funds? They can build more schools and reduce the overpopulation in the classrooms because the money is there. The money is there, but because they misappropriate these funds, that is the problem. They don't care. So I think it is time. I'm not saying that these fat cats, these political leaders, I'm not saying their children should not come over here to study, but how about just use some of this money to build better schools, build better institutions in our countries. It's even a shame, and they are so proud of it. They wear it, like a badge of honor. And my son or my daughter, is studying in the UK or is studying in America. You know, why look at the condition over there? Yes, Jessica, you saying especially in the university, only the grace of God is keeping our children. Can you imagine? Like I said, these people cannot even protest. Can you imagine? If they open their mouth, they can put them in jail. So those of us who are on this side of the world, I think we should be their spokesperson. So it is time for us to, whatever we can do, like I said, it's better to do something and fail than just keep your mouth shut and do nothing at all. Because some of us have relatives over there. Where you come from, you left some relatives there, you left some friends there. So it is better for us to do something and fail than do nothing at all. For the sake of humanity, let us, you know, join together. Like I always say, I don't know where this is taking us to, but I hope whenever I come up here to ask for whatever, I hope God will touch your heart so that, we can do it together in one accord and see what the Lord has in store for us. Let us don't leave this world as we met it. Let us leave it a better place for our children and our grandchildren. We are exiting the stage of life. Let us don't leave this world as it is. Let us play our own part in our own small way. Couple years ago, I went home and I could not believe my eyes. Some of the schools that I saw, the state that they are in, unbelievable. Some of the high schools, I could not believe my eyes. They are not well kept, and children go in those schools to study. Very dirty, very filthy. So I pray that you will join me, in this cause. Let us be the voice of the voiceless. Let us be the voice of the voiceless. Let us be the voice of the voiceless. May God bless you all. May God keep you. May God make his face to shine upon you and give you peace. And I pray that whatever we aspire to do on this platform, that it will be a success at God's appointed time. I hope you'll be able to join me tomorrow as we continue this series. God bless you. God bless you. And have a blessed night.